here we go.
This is the Skip Bayless Show, episode 19. I'm not sure there will be an episode 20, depending on what's about to transpire here and now. Heck, I'm not even sure I'll still be married about an hour from now. This is going to be different, to say the least. I am joined now by my wife, Ernestine. Fancy meeting you here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
You
this.
sound like a regular guest.
I am a guest today.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
It's like
a couple of
last
hours.
night, maybe.
Yeah.
Just for those who don't know this, my wife Ernestine has appeared twice live on our show Undisputed. And even though the first time I was more nervous than I've ever been in my entire career, I must say, you did okay. You actually did
okay.
pretty well.
I broke the records.
She did. She actually.
You were the highest rated show when I was on your show.
It was the highest rated non-NFL Monday segment we had ever had to that point on Undisputed. So congratulations for that, and we'll see how you fare now.
Oh,
but before we get to all of your questions for her and for us, allow me to disqualify us up front, because I don't want to come across as presenting ourselves as any kind of a model couple, because we are just the opposite.
We are not.
The model couples I sometimes walk by the TV and see as you're watching your Hallmark movies at night when I'm watching my sports. That is not the case here. Just for the record, we do fight.
Yes, we do.
We do threaten to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Till death do us part. No, we're about to part now.
Yep.
And yet, we're still going strong.
It's a miracle.
We've been together for 17 years. We have now been married almost 7 years. Don't ask me when the anniversary is. I always get it mixed up with all the other days that I'm supposed to honor. August something.
Yeah, something.
But here we are, at least for the next hour, and then we'll see if we're still together.
We're still together for the hour, I think, though.
So let's get to your questions for us. And this is going to be an audience-driven show.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's start with Caden from Missouri.
Okay.
Where did you two meet? And what was your first impression of each other? Let me set the scene quickly before you respond.
Okay.
In 2005, I was doing a show in New York City, your city, called Cold Pizza. I'd been on it for about a year. Before I joined it, I left a 5-year relationship that I'd been in, and I was free and single in New York City and had not dated a soul because I was not in the relationship business at this point. I was obsessed with my work, with my show. I had to get up very early, as I do now for Undisputed, for Cold Pizza back in those days. And here it was, August. Football season was upon us. And one fateful morning, fire away.
I booked Kevin Dillon on your show. I was working for a PR agency, largest agency in the world, and I booked Kevin Dillon to promote one of our...
The actor from
Kevin Dillon from Entourage.
Yes.
And I booked him on your show, and I was in a long-term relationship, 12 years, with a 70s pop star teen idol, who everyone probably knows, but he will remain nameless for this occasion.
Okay. I happen to know his name.
You do know his name, but you said you didn't know who he was, but that's a whole nother story. And the relationship was complicated, and I was thinking about getting out. So I told my mother and my sister I was going to a guy's show, and I should put on a short dress and high heels. Maybe I'll meet a guy.
Okay. But you didn't know much about me except...
I didn't know anything about you except my guy had been in my living room 2 weeks prior and was watching a sports show in my living room. And I walked through and I said, hey, what show are you watching? And he said, these two guys debate. This guy's really good, but this guy's an idiot, and the idiot was you. And so all I thought of was, wow, he's kind of cute, but not in my kind of type guy I go after. I go for rock and rollers and kind of
not a rock and roller.
bikers and just
Yep.
Steve Perry from Journey-ish kind of guy.
Yep.
And there you were, but I thought,
did
oh,
not
you were,
fit the part.
you were not, you were like a Sears model meets Kevin Costner kind of guy.
All right.
So I take Kevin Dillon, and I'm in the dressing room, and
No, you're in
Kevin.
the green
I was in the
room.
green room.
Green room.
Kevin was on the set, and I was with a coworker of mine, and you walked by the
Okay,
door.
now my turn.
Oh, this is like he said, she said, but mine is accurate. Yours is probably not accurate. But go ahead.
Mine is about to be very accurate.
Right. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
in a literal 1,000,000,000 shot,
Yeah.
on that day at Cold Pizza, I accidentally left my notes for what we call then fourth down. We did 4
Right.
debate segments throughout a 2-hour show, first, second, third, and fourth
Right.
down. I left my notes for fourth down in my dressing room,
Yes.
which was, we were shooting the show live in the basement of the New Yorker Hotel in New York City. It's at 34th and 8th.
Right.
And you have to go down a long hall from the studio to where the dressing rooms are. And along that long hall, you have to pass the green room,
right.
where you were stationed at
Right.
that point.
Right.
I literally was running because I had maybe 3 minutes to retrieve my notes and
Right.
run back before we're on live. And as I passed the green room, I looked to my right and saw you
Hey, right.
and caught your eye, and you said hi,
Right.
as if you knew me. But that's the way you
I
are.
didn't know
which
you,
did
but
not.
I just said hi because you were walking by. But then
And I said, do I know you?
no, and then you said to me, "Oh, hi. Who are you here with? What do you do? Where do you live?"
But you acted like you
Well,
knew
I just
me.
said hi, and then I said I'm with
But you
Kevin
said-
Dillon.
But you said I'm Ernestine.
I said I'm Ernestine, and then
You
there was
are?
no last name. It was like Madonna or Cher. It was like I'm
You're
Ernestine.
Ernestine.
And then
What?
you said to me, "Who are you with?" I said I'm with Kevin Dillon. And then you said, "Where do you live?"
But I wasn't doing anything with Kevin Dillon. I didn't even know he was on the
No,
show.
he was. You were going to teach him how to play golf or
No, I thought
something.
that
It was
was
something.
Jay Crawford
Oh,
or
Jay
something.
was on. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, and he was promoting Hanes or Champion T-shirts.
I think it was Haynes Underwood.
Haynes.
But go ahead.
And then I said, you asked me where I lived, and I was so
Okay,
nervous
this
that
whole conversation
like
is going to have to
2 minutes,
take
not
place
even
in
1
under
minute.
2
Right.
minutes.
And then
Yes.
you said, "Where do you live?" And I lived on 52nd and First, and I said I lived on 51st and Second. And then you said, "Oh, okay." And then I said, "Well, if you ever need PR, here's my card." And I gave
did.
you my card. And
Faithful.
after you left the the green room, my coworker turned to me and said, "You're going to marry that guy." And I said, "Are you
What?
insane? I'm dating somebody else, and he's not. I don't even know who he is." And it never dawned on me you were the guy that my guy was watching in the living room. And then after that, I walked to my best friend's office, who still is my best friend, a doctor in New York.
Dermatologist, Yep.
And I said, "I met this guy, but I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's married. I don't know what his story is and whatever." And then she said, "Oh, okay." And then that was it. And then later that day, you sent me an email and
I
you
think it was a
said,
couple of days, but go ahead.
I thought it was, I think I have the email. I could look at the date. But I thought, and
You're
you
going to
said,
bust me on my own show?
I said, no, I said, "Oh," you said, "Oh, it was nice meeting you. Sorry, I had to run." And I said, "Oh, you were dressed so you look like Dapper Dan or something." And then that was it. And then that went on for 2 weeks.
This went back and forth for 2 weeks until finally, fatefully, another 1,000,000,000 shot.
Right.
It was a Friday evening, and I had a coworker that a female who I would just platonically go to movies with occasionally because we both like movies, and we had set up for us to go to the 7 o'clock movie that Friday night.
Right.
And she stiffed me. I don't know what happened, and she was nowhere to be found.
Right.
Fatefully,
Yeah.
maybe it was a God
Right.
thing. I don't know, but I finally decided, I don't have anything planned tonight, and this is back in the day, still a voicemail.
Right.
And at Cold Pizza, I had a weird voicemail that I never checked. I don't think I'd ever checked it in the whole first year I'd been there, and for some reason, I checked it, and you were on it.
Well, because it was 2 weeks of you and I going back and forth about, we made up this dog that we were married and we were
That's-
going through a divorce and all this whatever. And then I thought, this is really weird. This guy never asks me out. He just emails me back and forth. And then my
I
mother
wasn't
said to
in
me,
the dating game. I
right,
didn't
but then
want
my
a
mother said to me, "Well, you need to find out what his story is, because if he's married and whatever it is, then just," and I left a voicemail and I said, "Hey, if you want to talk, you can call me." And that was when you
And
checked your voicemail once in a
I-
billion.
I called,
Right.
and we wound up
Stayed on the
talking
phone for like 3 hours.
3 hours
right?
on Friday night.
Right. You
talking
were
about-
watching a Yankees game. I remember you
I
emailed me
was.
and you said, "Oh, you won't mind if I'm just watching a little game." Little did I know what my fate was going to be, that it was going to turn into that was my life, was watching games. And then I said, "Oh no, I like the Yankees." And then we stayed on the phone and we talked about I Love Lucy and
which
Woody
was
Allen
your
movies.
favorite show, and it's
all-
still
all-
you're obsessed
still
with I Love
favorites,
Lucy, and I know every episode.
Woody Allen I loved, and,
Yes.
and we had a lot in common.
Weirdly, because I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma,
And I'm from New York.
You're from New York, from Long Island,
Right.
except your mother is Jewish and your father was Italian. And it's about as far, it's like the other side of the world
Right.
from where I'm from.
Yeah.
So we were a complete mismatch who matched.
Somehow.
I don't know.
I think it
how.
was because of I Love Lucy. I really, the I Love Lucy got me, and the Woody Allen.
because
I
you
thought,
still have all things Lucy all
right, I
over
have
your
everything Lucy.
room.
But I figured if you liked Lucy, then you were pretty much okay. And Woody Allen.
And Woody Allen, so
Yeah.
I was okay.
You were okay.
All right, let's go to question number 2.
Okay.
This is from Nick from Waterloo, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you, Ernestine, to write a book about what it's like living with Skip?
There was no way getting around it that I couldn't write
And
a
this was
book.
about 3 years
3
ago?
years ago, right before COVID,
Mhm.
because I was doing public relations for all of these years.
Mhm.
And then finally, when we moved from New York to LA, I was still doing public relations, but I always had in the back of my head this book idea because I had spoken with so many women throughout the years of dating you that were in the same boat as I am, but only mine is magnified 1,000%. And it was about how do you deal with a guy who likes sports or a female who likes sports if you're a guy and you don't like sports. And I thought maybe now is the time to write this book. So,
Okay, back to our early relationship.
yeah.
Right away, you made it very clear you're not a sports fan.
No, I've never been to a football game in my life to this day.
Like the line you used.
Except
here's your
when I
book.
played
Here's your
clarinet
book.
in the
Balls.
marching band.
You
Yeah,
see
there's
this?
balls.
Yeah?
Balls for those
Okay.
people who never bought this book. It's still alive and it's a
Okay,
good
and
read.
By the way, the book is a double entendre title because it's about ball games
Right.
and also about testosterone,
Right.
which spills all over
And
our
also,
household.
you have to have balls to stick with someone like you.
That is correct.
So
okay,
there
so
you
it's
go.
it's a triple
So it's
entendre.
balls all the way
Okay,
around.
There's balls everywhere,
Everywhere.
in this book.
Right.
But the point was, you made it clear you didn't like sports,
Right.
which attracted me even more to you because if I'm away from my games
Right.
and my obsession of debating sports on television, there are times in my life that I don't want to talk sports with anybody. I want to watch a movie, or I want to watch a TV series, or I want to do something that doesn't involve
Well,
sports.
you said that to me on the first date when we went for pizza. Remember, we went for pizza, whole
Yeah.
wheat pizza on First Avenue. And you said to me, "Well, I'm glad that you don't like sports because sometimes I like to get away from sports."
But I also told
Very
you
little,
that
but-
fateful night,
Uh-huh.
which you don't like me to bring up.
Right. That you
But I
will always
said-
be number one in my life. Sports is always number
No,
one in my life.
Sports, but I
You're gonna
told
be
you if this
1A,
goes
right.
anywhere, which I had no idea it was going to go here.
I don't even listen. I discount
Okay.
that.
Well, I told you
Right.
straight from my heart, if this goes any place, you'll always be number 2 to
Right.
my career because I live for my career.
Right.
And you accepted that. Now you say, well, you're
Well,
one
it's not like I accepted it. It wasn't like, oh, okay, I'm
Well, at
so
least I
subservient. I'm
disqualified
going to
myself
accept this.
going in.
It was it was
Right?
like I liked you. I didn't know where it was going to go, and I really just kind
Yeah.
of pushed that under the rug because I never really thought that you and I were going to go further than a couple of dates.
And then, ironically, the first movie we go to is the worst movie we ever went to in our lives.
A flower. What was it?
Broken Flowers with
It's
Bill Murray. It's
horrible. Ugh,
unwatchable.
horrible.
It's some
It's horrible.
art house sort of.
We walked out. Didn't we walk out?
I think I wanted to, but
I think. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we
we
toughed
stayed,
it
but
out
it was terrible.
just
yeah.
to see if it redeemed itself, and it
You always
obviously-
want to wait and see how bad it gets. I'm saying let's
That's right,
just
so we
leave.
can laugh at it
Yeah.
in the end.
Right.
But the first thing you did that won my heart was you said, well, if you're obsessed and college football and pro football are starting and I can have you a little bit on Saturday, but I can't have you at all on Sunday,
Right.
you on your own opted
the package
to get the
deal.
package. The what was it? The
Package,
ESPN,
ESPN
college football
College
package.
football and
so that, that
I
if I were
watched
at
enough.
your apartment on Saturday, which I started to be every Saturday,
Right.
I would have access to every game.
But
that
I was
being
so new
played.
to it. I never knew that the college started at 10 in the morning and went till midnight. And then, so
does.
first I thought, oh, you're going to watch a couple of games. Then it was like 4 o'clock, he's still watching games. Then it's 8 o'clock, we're ordering Chinese food. Now it's like midnight, and they're like, is this ever going to end? And then I started to understand what this was all about. Then Sunday, it would pick back up again with NFL. And then it was from 10 in the morning, 10, 1, 4, 8, 10, 1, 4, 8. It never stopped.
In the East,
Right,
correct.
right.
Yep. It never stopped.
Then I got the full picture of what the sports world was about. And that brought me to why I wrote the book.
Okay. And the driving force of balls is what haunts your existence, which you had to learn from the beginning, which are my
Jinxes.
jinx rules,
Ugh.
right?
It's insanity.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
insanity.
it's insanity.
And what did you learn from the start?
I learned that you're insane.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I also learned that there's no understanding of this jinx thing because it's not real, but yet how can I change a game that's taking place in Dallas or in Braintree, Massachusetts, right? Foxborough, whatever. And then I'm in New York City, and because I turned the light off in the kitchen,
That's correct.
I've now changed the game.
You have.
How in the world can that?
I don't know.
I should be at the Mayo Clinic curing cancer, and I should hopefully cure COVID and AIDS because I have that power. I don't know how I have that power.
But
it's
you
like
do.
insanity. And even last night, Hazel wanted to leave the room,
It happened
our little
last night.
Maltese, and I'm in the living room, and I see
This
normally.
is game one of
Yeah.
Miami. Obviously,
So I'm
they
sitting in the
lost it.
living room. I had the game on because I like Jimmy Butler, and I had the game on in the living room. And then usually around 8:30, usually send the dog out. Hazel comes and sits with me, and all of a sudden Hazel ran out a little earlier, and I thought,
But
oh,
she
that's so
escaped
nice.
on her own.
Hazel is coming with me, and all of a sudden you came running out. Hazel, you need to come back with me. And I said, oh, you're using her as the Buddha.
Because
She's the Buddha
She
tonight.
was the Buddha, but
Yeah.
there were 3 minutes left in the game, and all
Right.
of a sudden Jaylen Brown starts bombing threes, and so does Peyton Pritchard. And all of a sudden I said,
Right, you need Hazel.
She slipped out the door when I
She can't
used the
take it
bathroom.
anymore. The dog is about to go jump out the window
No,
because
she
the
isn't.
dog
She
can't
loves
take it.
No, she loves to watch games. Does she not just sit at my feet watching games?
You have her sequestered. She can't leave.
Sequestered.
She's trying to scratch on the door to come out. I
she
hear
is
it, and
not.
you're like
That's a lie.
muzzling her to stay
No,
down.
that's a
But
lie.
anyway,
You're exaggerating.
right.
But I did go retriever, and then what happened right on schedule?
They won.
Jimmy Butler
'Cause of
says,
Hazel.
I got this, and game over, and we
fit.
win cruising, and I picked the Heat, so I won game one, right?
I don't know how you can be so smart about things and really believe that, because it's just so. I write in the book these jinxes, and then when I was compiling the jinxes, it was getting worse and worse and worse. Realizing
Well, as you
all
always
these-
ask me, how can you believe in God, which I do.
Right, and then when I
believe in
say to you,
jinxes.
"Oh, you know what? I prayed to God last night that your team wins," then you say to me,
I say, we
"Don't
can't
do that."
Well, don't do
Well,
that
it must
because
work.
God
It
didn't
works
pick
on both
winners.
ways. It's not like just one way to God.
No, but jinx is like negative energy. It's like an
then I
evil
say to you,
force.
but then I say to you,
It's the
what do you
dark
think?
side.
But then I say to you all the time, do you think these players want to lose? Like they go into playing, say Chris Paul, he wanted to win more than anything. You think he went in and played? He said, I want to lose today.
No.
They all want to win, so it's not their fault. They're not playing well. It just happens.
And
It's
you always
the
say,
game.
it's not my fault that I picked Miami to win, right?
Right. I say you can't control the guys that are playing
No,
terrible
but
or maybe
I can
whatever.
be smart enough to pick the right team.
But you can't predict it.
Well, that's why there's a Las
That's
Vegas.
why it's a
That's why there are
sport.
those giant casinos, because everybody keeps betting on games they can't consistently win.
Right, but it's irrational. How
Okay,
can you?
but I'm on Undisputed. I'm up like 92 cases of Diet Mountain Dew.
Just
on
because
Shannon
Shannon unfortunately has picked the wrong team.
Sharp. Okay,
I mean,
but I fortunately picked the right team.
it's just
right?
it's just like a spin of the roulette wheel.
No,
so
it's
you
not.
get to win, so
That
you
is
get
not
the do.
true.
I mean,
I'm smart
it's not
enough
a
to pick the right
science.
team. Well, you have to have some insight into it, and you have to have a sixth sense about which team is playing better and which team
But if
will
a guy
play
gets
better.
hurt on the field and
Okay,
they're
I
taking him,
can't
when a
control
guy gets hurt on the field, like I'm very emotional about it. Oh my God, do you think he's going to walk again? He's paralyzed. Skip is, there goes my season. I'm like, the guy is in the hospital. Then I ask him a day later, is that guy okay? What guy? The guy that they brought out on the stretcher who has a
Here.
thumb up. Did he live?
Yes.
I think so. It's like there's no loyalty or love for these people. It's just you see them as like a commodity. They have to.
I don't. I have
Yeah.
a heart for for these people on the field. But in the end, I care about picking the game right, because you don't understand what it feels like to have to go in there on Monday morning and sit in my seat and be shamed by the guy across from me.
Do you know that I have to go in tomorrow and I got to eat crow? I hear it. I know what
hard.
it is.
It's
and then I say, well, what can you do? They lost.
Okay.
That's not what I want to hear.
But this is a boy thing versus a girl thing to me.
It's a human thing. It's just...
but the picking games, that's male pride that I picked it right. And I have to go live with it when I have to eat crow on live national
There's no
TV.
way anyone in this world can predict how a player is going to play or a team unless they're throwing the game, unless they got payola or something.
I'm up 92 cases.
Poor Shannon. It's just because he's just picked the wrong team. It's not his fault.
That's his fault. You got to pick. You have to know what's going on.
And
He's
when
in the
you
Hall of
pick the
Fame.
wrong
I'm not.
Yeah, but so he gets to lose every time because he's in the Hall of Fame.
No, I'm just saying.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, I'm up 92 cases on the Hall of Famer, right?
It's just
Point
where
of pride.
the wheel stopped.
Okay,
Was you
how
won.
many times have I shown you that we come in from eating dinner
Yeah.
or whatever, and we turn on the game that's important, and I say, watch what's about
Then
to
he
happen.
goes, yeah.
And I turn
Watch
it on.
what's going to happen, and I have to
either
sit
my
there
team
watching.
is down or up, and it immediately switches because I've joined the fray. I sit down and I say, watch what's about to happen. My
Right.
team's up 10, and all of a sudden it's down 10. And I say, did you see what just happened?
Right, and then last night, I go in your room to go over today's questions.
By the way, I have my own, because we're about to get to this, but because I have to get up at 2 a.m.
Oh, I know that.
I have
live it.
my own bedroom for the weekdays. That's my man cave.
No, I know.
Office.
So you're in your
Okay.
man cave. So
Yes.
Skip said, hey, why don't you come in? We'll go over the questions. I said, okay. So I sit down. We're going over the questions.
Oh, that's a
and
good
the
one.
Jimmy Butler.
Okay, where was I when you came in?
You were sitting on the bed.
I was sitting on the bed. Where do I usually sit?
On your desk, by your chair.
I sat at my desk for the whole first half, and what happened? I got
They were
blown
losing.
out.
Okay, so then
got
I come in and I say, okay, so you want to go over the
switched
questions?
to the
So
bed,
we
and
finish,
the whole game switched.
and then the second quarter ended, and they were down, and then the third quarter starts, and I see out of the corner of my eye, they're winning, and then I knew I had to leave because otherwise I'm going to get roped into making me sit because you don't let me out of the
Well,
room
you wanted
once
to
they
get
start.
up, and I said,
so I
maybe
said to
you
him, I
should
have to
stay.
leave right now because otherwise I'm not going to be able to eat dinner because you're going to make me stay in this room until they start losing.
But I did make Hazel stay.
Poor
or
Hazel,
she wanted
yeah,
to stay, and she was
She
there.
doesn't have a say. She's a
She
dog.
does.
What is
She
she going to
loves-
do? Say, let me
She
out?
loves sports, unlike her mom. She loves.
She loves sports.
And
She
by the
comes-
way,
that dog comes out. Her head is spinning. She doesn't
Okay.
know.
just
Should I go to the
quickly,
bathroom? Should I sit down?
We have to tell the all-time jinx story, thanks to you, that happened in
Tom Brady?
my guy Tom Brady's
Oh, yeah.
game. This is the end of the 2018 season. It's
Yeah.
the AFC Championship game in early 2019, January, maybe the 20th of 2019.
I remember.
At Kansas City, cold day in Kansas
Right.
City. Big underdog Patriots on the road against my homeboy, as Shannon calls him, Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And Brady goes up 7-0, and Brady drives him down again and has it 3rd and goal from the 1 yard line, to go up 14-0. Well, I'd ask you that day, just please leave me be. Just I'm going to shut the door and just leave me alone.
Right.
Don't open my door because
Right.
we got jinxes
Right.
operating,
Right.
and
Jinx
they're
is
ready to
flying all
pounce
over.
on me
Yeah.
if you
Right.
open my door.
Right.
Just leave it alone, and I'll see you when it's over, and we'll be just fine,
Right.
So what do you choose to do?
No. Okay, back up. An envelope comes from I don't know, FedEx or something on a Sunday.
It wasn't a FedEx, it
It
was mailed.
No, it was
It was
some
from my
kind of
cousin.
certified. It was like certified mail on a
was-
Sunday. So
it
I
was
think, oh
my
my God,
cousin in Seattle.
something is bad
It's my
because
cousin
certified mail
sending
only comes
me some
as
old
right.
pictures she wanted me
But
to
I don't know that. I get the certified envelope. I'm like, oh my God, somebody died.
It didn't
so
come on
quickly,
Sunday.
I go and I knock on the door and I open it. I
You
said,
open
you got
the door.
I said, you got the certified. Get out! What are you doing?
I said,
He
no,
just
no,
tumbled.
no, no, no,
He had
no,
a
no, no, no,
fumble.
no.
He fumbled.
What? He didn't fumble. He stands up. This is Thomas Edward Patrick
I know
Brady
who
Jr.
he is. I know who he
stands
is.
up at the line of scrimmage and commits the ultimate cardinal sin that I'll bet he's never committed in his whole career.
He threw-
3rd and goal from the 1 yard line, going in for a touchdown.
Right.
He stands up and throws it to Gronkowski,
Right.
except he throws it right to the linebacker,
Right.
Reggie Ragland, who intercepts it 5 yards deep in the end zone and curls up into a little
Because
ball.
I brought the envelope
You did
in.
that. And I said it's right. As soon as you
Seriously.
but as soon as you open the door, I said, no, don't do that. And right on time, he throws it to Reggie Ragland.
And had I,
I've never seen
so
anything
then
like
this is
it
like the
before.
movie, if you ever saw the movie Glass Doors, right? So if you get
don't
to
know
the
Glass
subway,
Doors.
okay, and if you either make the left, your life
Oh,
goes
okay.
one way, or the right, your life goes the other way. So had I not walked in that door, Tom Brady would have not thrown that to Gronkowski.
It would not have happened.
I
I've
can't
proven
even-
it to you. I demonstrate it to you time and time again, and you won't honor the jinxes, although you've been better lately. I would
No,
say.
I've been better later. I just stay away. I don't have any, there's no thought of, oh, I feel so bad he's losing. I just remove myself from the situation.
Back to the questions. Back to Jean from
Yeah.
Florida.
Uh-huh.
This is for you, Miss Ernestine.
Right.
What do you think of LeBron James? Just quick thought. Obviously,
Okay.
I've had my issues with LeBron as a basketball player, just
Right.
on the basketball court.
Right.
I think he's a lousy shooter from three and from the free throw line, and I question whether he was born with a Jordan-esque clutch gene. And I get sick and tired of hearing my partner on Undisputed try to proclaim LeBron James the GOAT over
Right.
Michael Jeffrey
Right.
Jordan.
Right.
Phony GOAT, maybe,
Right.
but that's my take on LeBron that you've heard. You do watch our show. I appreciate that. But I don't even know. You and I have never spoken about LeBron at home. I don't bring it home, so I'm
You don't
curious.
bring it home.
Well, I don't. I don't bring
You
my
don't bring
work.
it home.
Okay, I live it at home, but we don't talk about. Have we ever had a
They
long
should do a
conversation?
reality show of us because,
Okay,
man, that
but-
would
but
be a
seriously,
really good one.
Until this moment, have
Yeah.
we ever had a long conversation about LeBron James? I'm not.
No,
even
I don't
sure
bring
what
it
you
up
think. Okay,
because
thank
I'm
you.
afraid.
Okay, fire away.
I like LeBron. I'm sorry. I'm going to
Okay,
admit it. I
that's
do
your
like
right.
LeBron James.
I'm not surprised.
I think that he's done wonderful things for being a role model.
Yes,
You
I
know,
give you that.
I know he curses occasionally, but everybody curses
He
occasionally.
curses a lot.
You curse occasionally.
Every once in a while,
Right.
I do.
But I think that he seems to be a nice guy. He's always, even after the game and they talk to him, he's really calm and he's really nice and he tries and I don't have
Yeah, he
hatred
tries.
for him.
They all
So-
try.
But he's built schools and he's done all these wonderful
Yes,
things.
I promise. Yes.
And I don't have a hatred. I saw him walking on Central Park South
You
one day.
did?
I was
Yep.
walking
Mhm.
and I was going to say hi to him, but I thought he was going to punch me if I told him
punch you.
who I was.
Yes.
So I just looked at him from afar and I said,
Yep.
wow, he's really tall.
He's
but
really tall. He's
Other than
6'9".
that, I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with him. I think he's a nice man. I would like to meet him and say hello.
Are you listening,
Barkley,
LeBron?
on the
You
other
have a
hand,
fan.
Barkley, yes, that's
Okay.
a problem.
All right.
That's a problem.
Okay,
but
we'll get to him in
LeBron,
just a moment.
I think he's a nice man. I
Okay.
would like to go on record. He could call me. He could say hello. I don't care. I like him.
All right. Fair enough. Next question.
Okay.
Monty from one of my favorite towns, Thousand Oaks, California. You've never quite been there. We
No.
went out the other night, close to there, but Thousand Oaks, California. Monty asks, how do you, Ernestine,
Yeah.
react to the kinds of reactions Skip gets with his sports opinions? Fire away.
Well, I'm very protective
You
over
are.
people that I love and I care about, whether it's my mother, my family, you, Hazel. So I don't like people that talk about you without knowing you. I mean, nobody really knows anybody on TV. You just see them from afar. But the time that we were at your hair place and you were upstairs getting your hair cut
Forgot
in the
about
city.
that. Yep.
And I was waiting for you downstairs
The
in the
lobby,
lobby. And
and-
the two guys came out that worked up in the hair place, and one said to the other, "Oh,
One-
do you
no,
know
one
who's-"
guy was the like guard.
Yeah, and
right?
he said, "Oh, do you know who's up there?" And the other guy said, "Skip Bayless." And then he said, "Oh, I can't stand him." And I overheard him, and I went over to him and I said, "Oh, who's up there, Skip Bayless?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "What do you have against Skip Bayless?" And he said, "Oh, I just think he's an idiot." I said, "Do you know him
I think
personally?"
he said I was an asshole.
Well, he said that you were an asshole.
Okay.
And he said, I said, "Do you know him personally?" He said, "No." I said, "Why don't you shut your mouth?" I said, "Because if you don't know somebody, why go talking about them if you don't know them? If you know them, then you have a reason to talk about them. Until then, you should not say anything bad about them." And he just said, "Oh," and he didn't know who I was. And
Well,
then
he
I
was
just walked
shell-shocked.
away.
And
And
then
then
when
you
I
came
walked-
down and
yeah.
you said to me, "Why are you doing that to me? Because you're going to get me in a fight."
Hmm. Well,
But you didn't get into a fight.
but when I walked by the guard, he was looking at me with eyes like
Right.
saucers.
Because I reamed him out.
You reamed him out.
So-
I will attest, she is not to be trifled with.
I don't take it.
No.
And so if I don't like when somebody, sports is one thing and you don't like a team or you don't like a player and you disagree, But when you start getting really into horrible things that you want to do to somebody, it's just horrible. It's like, and I'm not a big social media person, and I only started doing it with my book, but some of the comments that I read, I don't read them anymore. They're just so horrible. And I don't know why people have to write horrible things about eat a sandwich and whatever it is. It's like, it's just so terrible.
What did I tell you from the start? You just can't read
I don't read them. I don't care what people write. I don't care what they think.
You cannot expose your own psyche,
No.
especially knowing you the way you are, to that kind
It's
of
just a horrible
venom.
thing.
It's horrible, but
They think that people don't have feelings. And even, I'm not a big Kardashian person at all. I don't watch the show. I worked with one time, but I don't have anything against. But the things people write and say, they're human beings. Everybody has feelings, even though the people that write them, they just think that it's okay. So, but that's a whole nother story.
okay. And yet, I want you to know how much I love you for defending me.
Well,
And I feel for you because you do get my Google alerts just
Yeah.
on anything that's written about me because I
Right.
don't really want to know about it. And so you occasionally tell me about something when it's a big story and you get 50 Google
Right.
alerts where it's all over everywhere and you say, did you know that? Well,
Right.
I need to know that for tomorrow's Undisputed. So you're sort of my eyes and ears, but
Right.
unfortunately, your eyes and ears get bombarded by the negativity.
or if a player says something
Yes.
about you, you know.
Okay, we got it. Okay, next topic is not a fan question. It's more our pet
Oh.
topic.
Okay.
And it concerns my love-hate relationship with golf, with
Right.
playing golf since high school. And you have experienced it. I am sometimes pretty good at golf, and other times I'm shockingly awful at golf. And you have seen me break 80, and you have
Right.
seen me break clubs when I don't even break
Right.
90.
Yes,
So
I
you've
have.
seen the best and the worst of
Right.
me. I fight with myself, as you well know. My handicap is me. It's my negativity, my pessimism, my self-destruction, as
Right.
you well know.
Right.
But the amazing development to me was in the first year that we knew each other, you went back with me as I go every usually July or August to where I'm from, Oklahoma City,
Right.
and I play golf on the courses I grew up on with my high school friends, Craig Humphreys, Perry Littlepage, Craig's son Sam. You know them all.
Right.
And right away, you said you'd go.
Yeah.
You don't play golf.
No.
You don't really want to play golf. You'll putt with me,
No.
and you're a good putter because you have good hand-eye.
Thank you.
But you don't want to play. You just want to drive the cart. So
I like listening to the birds, and I like to see the green grass, and it's
Okay.
very tranquil to me. It's like a Zen moment.
okay. So
Until you start yelling, then the
I
Zen
know, then
goes
it's the
really
Zen gets
fast
shattered.
away.
I understand that, but right away it surprised me that my buddies that I grew up with readily accepted you as part of the male culture of us getting back together,
Right.
trying to recapture our youth or whatever we're
right.
trying to do. I'm not sure what we're doing.
Right.
It's just like same time next
Right,
year.
right.
Let's do it again on the course we grew up on, which is Lincoln Park East and West course. You know them all. You know
Right.
every hole on the course.
Mhm.
And I thought maybe they would be a little offended by it. Like, we don't want her just
Right.
sitting in the mist because we
She's a
can't really
girl.
be ourselves. And yet they welcomed you as one of the guys right from
been
day
fun.
one.
Yeah.
And you were comfortable with them and vice versa. They don't like it when I get mad. I don't like it when I get mad. But the point was, you went along for the literal ride,
Right.
and you have played with me 100,000
Right.
holes. When we go on vacation to
Right.
Palm Springs or wherever, you'll
Puerto
go out with me
Rico,
just
yeah.
we used to go to
to go
Puerto
to
Rico.
Puerto Rico,
Yeah, when we
yeah.
were in New York City,
Yeah.
we used to go, and you would go every time and ride 18 holes with me without complaint. Now you might be on the phone occasionally. You
Well,
might be
Palm
doing work.
Springs at 122 degrees, where
You
they
would
were
go.
making you. He wants to play in 122
I
degrees.
do.
That they make him sign a waiver that if we both drop dead on the
It's
golf
true, they
course, it would
do.
be okay because he just refuses to not
Okay,
play.
but you went, and we.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was like I was seeing like double out there because it was so hot, like a mirage. It
But
was
we
like,
would take
Do I
plenty
see
of water,
water?
right? Okay.
yeah, I drank so much water, I was floating.
You're floating.
It was terrible.
All right. Which brings us to one golf story
Right.
that was It's now funny, but was pretty scary at the time.
I got a scar in my leg from
You
it.
got a scar on your leg. Okay, so we're playing my favorite golf course, and we're about to play my favorite hole in the whole world.
Right.
And it is the 15th hole
Right.
on the East Course at Lincoln Park. It's a public course, but it's a great course, and I think you like it. It's a pretty
I liked
rolling
it. It's
course.
beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's incredibly well kept.
Yeah.
It's to me the best public course I've ever played, and I had the fortune of growing up on it. And I go back to play it because it's really fun to play, and it fits my eye.
Right.
So now we're on the 14th hole, and I hit, for once, a big drive. I'm right in the middle of the fairway. I'm looking at a sand wedge to the green because I just crushed it. And it plays uphill to an uphill green that tilts away. And I hit it on the screws right at the flag. And I thought, that is going to be close, and I'm going to have a short birdie putt.
Yes.
We get all the way up to the green, and I realized that for the first time in my life, I have somehow managed to fly the flag, fly the pin, and it goes in the back sand.
Right.
Well, it's death because now the back trap is actually above the green, and so if you blast out of it, it's going to roll and roll and roll.
Right.
And of course, I blast out, and it wouldn't stop, and it rolled down into the front sand, the front bunker.
Right.
Well, now I'm just furious, and I go down and I leave one in the bunker, the first one, and then I blast out, and I'm like 20 feet away. So my birdie has turned into a double bogey.
Right, but meanwhile, I was sitting in the golf cart, and I felt bad for you because you're yelling and you're like,
I didn't yell.
Well, you were fuming.
I was
Okay, and I figured, I've been sitting in this golf cart the whole time. I should really support him and show that I feel
you kinda
bad.
walked
So
down the
I was
hill.
wait. No, this was before you hit it the second time. I said, oh, maybe I should just stand there. So then you would say, oh, look, she's supporting me. I'm out here. And I remember I had shorts on and I had sneakers on, and I walk over and I'm just standing at the edge, just looking, la la la. And then you hit it again, and then you got really mad, and then you threw the golf club
wait a
at
second.
me.
Okay, I said, because I was done with my sand.
Right, but you didn't just say, "Oh,
I
Ernestine,
just hit my
here."
sand
You
wedge 4
flung
straight
it like it
times.
was like a
Okay.
what are those things that
Okay,
they throw like a boomerang?
I tossed it up to you, and it helicoptered
It was like a
sideways.
boomerang.
Okay.
So the boomerang is
And
coming, and it's going to hit
unfortunately-
me right in the leg.
Okay, it didn't. It hit beside you, and it hit on
And it ricocheted.
the end of its handle,
Right.
and it bounced straight right in the blade of the sand wedge.
Right, and
which
this
is
was
the-
your sandwich that you had from 1872. It was like the first
Hogan.
ones they made,
It's-
like with
was
like
the-
cavemen put
it
it
was-
together with like iron or
No,
something.
in
It was like
Scotland, the
boom.
shepherds put it together.
Yeah,
in
it was
Scotland.
like a piece of
Okay, it's-
giant metal. Was
It's a Ben Hogan
my God.
special. It's called a Sure Shot, and it's a relic, but
Right,
it works.
It was a relic hitting my knee,
Okay,
my
and the relic
shin.
is by far the most open blade of any club in my bag because it sits open like
I know,
that.
and it splits open my shin.
And it has it will cut through the
Thank God
sand.
I had
so-
I think I had a, didn't they? I had a shot. Remember? Did they give me? I had gotten a tetanus shot not that far before that. So thank
Okay, so
God
it
because I'd
hits
be
your
dead
shin.
right now.
and it opened it up.
Yeah, blood coming down my leg,
It
and
went
then
everywhere.
blood,
Okay.
and then your friend Craig, who
Craig.
was really nice, he says, "Oh my God, Ernestine, you're bleeding." I'm like, "Oh my God, it's bleeding all down my leg into my sneaker." And then he says, "Here, take my towel."
It's a master's towel
Master's
from the
towel.
master.
It must have been from the year 12. Masters. It had more dirt on it. I'm wrapping my
did.
leg up with a hole with the dirtiest towel.
That's
How
true.
I didn't get like I don't know what some
Okay,
kind
now
of
for the moment of truth in our relationship.
yeah.
We're now on the 15th tee. It's
Right. Then
my-
I call my friend Laura, my doctor in New
Okay,
York,
you did.
and I go, "My leg is bleeding." She's like, "Okay, you need to elevate it." So there I am with my foot up on the
Yeah.
end of the golf cart, and then you got me ice, and I
we
wrapped
had
it with
ice in the
ice.
car.
Yeah, with the
It's
dirty
100 it's
rag and the
102
ice, and I'm
degrees.
bleeding.
Yes.
And she's like, "Listen, if you could stop the blood, it'll coagulate."
Okay.
And then you say to me, "Can we finish the rest of the holes?"
No, I told you it's
What?
my favorite hole. It's the 15th hole. This is all I care
Now
about.
you're scarred
from the
because of
whole-
my
Okay,
leg.
wait a
Right.
second.
Yeah.
So now it's a par 5 that goes downhill to the left, a dogleg
Right.
left.
Right.
But if you really crush it, it'll catch the hill and roll
Right.
down, and you can even me, and I'm not that long, but
Right.
I can reach it in 2.
Yeah.
Because it plays pretty short.
Right.
So I love the hole. I've eaten it up. I've made eagles. I probably made 3 eagles on it. I've
Right.
made nest full of birdies.
Right.
So I want to play this hole.
Right.
So I'm asking you, are you okay for
Yeah,
me to play
you
this
asked
hole?
me, am I okay? What am I supposed to say? I'm bleeding, and you're like pleading with me, and all your friends are standing around, and Craig and his son or whoever it was. I was like, yeah, okay, I could go ahead. And you just go in the bathroom and get me some of those brown, really hard paper towels that I could wrap it up in my legs. So then I would continue. It's like chafing me from the brown towels.
But
that are
without
so
complaint, you just let us play.
No,
the
I
hole.
let you go without a complaint, and I just figured, God, help us. I hope, oh no, am I going to land in an Oklahoma hospital? They're going to stitch me up or something. I'm thinking about this. I used to model my legs. Now I'm not going to, can't do modeling anymore because my legs are now completely destroyed from a golf club. Then we get finished. And then you have the nerve. I figured, let's go to Rite Aid. I can get some Band-Aids.
Yep.
And then you have the nerve and you say to me, do you mind if I go putting now?
I putted miserably. I thought, well, I just want to practice my putting. You seemed okay.
It's 100 degrees. My leg is like bleeding. It's like now purple blood coming down. And I said, what did I say? Sure.
And that was the moment when I said, I think I'm going to
Put
marry
a ring
this
on her
woman.
finger. Yeah. Put a golf club on her finger.
Because that was incredible.
And then we went to
You wanna
Rite
talk
Aid
about
and we
guts
tried to
and
get
character and backbone. That's it.
Stupid.
Well, it turned out okay.
Yeah, I got a
And
scar. It's not a big deal, but now it's gone away a little bit.
You probably deserve to have 4 or 5 stitches, but you didn't. and
Right,
it left a
I
little
should have
scar.
got, but we went to Rite Aid and we could barely find like butterflies to put on my, and then you were like, come on, we got to hurry up because we have to go to dinner with Craig. Don't worry about it. I'll just be limping the entire time.
Ultimate trooper.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, God, for Ernestine.
I don't know. If it was me today, I don't know.
I don't
I think
think
you would have been on the golf course by yourself.
think I
would
would
have
have
been
been.
back at the ranch.
Back to your questions, back to Miguel from Arizona. What do you, Ernestine, do when the Cowboys games are on?
Run really fast, run.
Yep.
Especially out of all the games that you watch, and I know them all, and I have watched more games than probably any woman on this planet, short of maybe, I don't know, analysts or Aaron Andrews or someone else. When the Cowboys are on, I try to get out of the house.
You do?
And I monitor by watching ESPN's scores because you've taught me how to do the,
But you just watch it on your phone.
Yes, and before if I'm at the grocery or I'm at the mall or something,
And you and your
and then my
sister-
sister is with me, and I say, wait a second, and she'll say, are you going to go back home? Wait a minute, let me look. Oh no, the Cowboys are losing. Oh no, I cannot go home yet. So I do not go home until, and then if they really do lose the entire game, then I try to sneak in without you knowing that I came home, and I go in the back bedroom because I don't want to hear you now, the wrath of you telling me play by play of what happened and how you lost. And
Okay.
that tomorrow you have to go in and you got to eat dirt.
And the one point of disagreement that we've had from the start is that when they do lose, when I'm at my lowest, I always say, well, give me just a little sympathy. Just a little
Please.
bit. But,
This
I
is like, I think I wrote that in the book. That is the biggest crock going. Like, if I had $1 for every time I said to you, and you could ask my sister, unfortunately, my mom's not here anymore, but my mother would laugh if I called her right now and said, how many times I've said to you, I'm sorry your team lost. I'm sorry your team lost. And then after a while, it's like, well, why am I sorry your team lost? I didn't make them lose, but I try to be nice. And then what really gets me is when you say to me, you know, you could at least say that you're sorry. And I say, do you know how many times do you say, oh, no, just a little supportiveness would be great. If you could just be.
Well, just a little.
Oh,
Well,
you
it's
should.
devastating.
You should. Oh, God only knows.
My whole life is on the line. My pride is on the line.
Then pick
They
a better
lost again.
team. Then pick
I
the
can't
other
help it.
team
They
because
picked
they
me.
seem to stink.
Well, they
so
do.
I mean, really, you keep going on.
Look
Dak
at that guy.
Prescott and
Right.
the other one,
Zeke.
Zeke. You know, they haven't been playing well. Why do you stick with these teams that aren't playing
Because
well?
it's in my blood. They chose
But then
me
you
when I
choose.
was
It's like
10
a
years old.
self-fulfilling prophecy. They're gonna lose. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna tell me say you're sorry. It's like it goes around and around and around.
Okay, next year I'm out on them. I don't even
Good.
care anymore. I'm
Good.
sick of them.
The
I'm
helmet.
tired of
I
them.
bought you the helmet, that floating halogen
do.
helmet. I
Yeah,
bought you the
the
Cowboys
Cowboy, yeah.
helmet,
Mhm.
right?
And I used to use
Bought
it
your
to,
Cowboys pillow. Even my friends buy you Cowboy
They do,
merchandise.
unfortunately. Well,
Hazel
that's-
had a Cowboy jersey that
did.
got thrown out
Yeah,
in one
I'm
of the
done
fights.
with them. So you don't have to worry next year. You can even
Good.
come and watch them because I
Good.
don't even care. You can,
Even in this book, the artist put. Did you buy it here? Here. Oh, here. I just turned to it.
Mhm.
This is a funny one. Did you buy the Cowboys bread maker on Amazon yet? Because everything has to be by the Cowboys. That was in the book.
Okay.
It's funny.
Next question. Let's try Daniel from Tampa.
Oh yeah.
How do Skip's sleeping habits affect you, Ernestine? And for the record, for years, I was on a show called First Take on ESPN.
Right.
I got up at 5 a.m. in the East to do the show that started at 10 in the
Right.
East, right?
Mhm.
And I needed every second
Right.
of that.
Right.
Now I get up at 2 a.m. in the West to do a show that starts a half hour earlier, 9:30 Eastern time, obviously 6:30 out here
Right.
in LA. And it makes for a crazy lifestyle because I try to be in bed by 9 to get up at 2. I also try to take a quick nap in the afternoon. It's the only way I
That
can
never
work
happens.
through it.
Right.
But you try to bend your schedule closer to mine. So
Oh.
around 9, you're starting to wind down.
Well,
where
it's
you
only
go to
because
sleep.
I don't sleep. Granted, I had extra makeup today because I don't sleep, so you got to cover some of the bags and the circles. But you know, I grew up in Long Island, grew up in New York. My lifestyle in New York before we moved out here is very different than people who live out here. I would go to the theater. I'm used to eating dinner at 11 o'clock when you come out of the theater.
Yep.
Or if I was working and just going home, I'd relax. I eat dinner at 9 o'clock every night. Now, it's really hard to eat dinner at like 4:30 in the afternoon unless you live in Fort Lauderdale and you're doing an early bird special. But I mean, and then I have to talk to you as though we live on alternate planets. Skip, do you want to eat dinner yet? It's 4:30. It's 7:30. What are you talking about?
'Cause I stay on East Coast time.
You live like on another clock. Meanwhile, I've got 2 clocks in my office, East Coast, West Coast, and then I'm still working and living in LA in the real world. So I'm living LA time, and I try to go to bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then at 2 o'clock you get up and you're on the other side of the house because you sleep on the other side of the house, and then
in the weekdays. Yes,
right,
go
and
ahead.
then I hear you undo the alarm that we have an alarm.
That's when I'm
security,
leaving.
right,
Yep.
at 4:05, and even though I'm supposed to be sleeping, I can hear it doot 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 doot. So I'm up at. I hear you sometimes at 3, and I go to the bathroom. Then at 4:05, I hear you leave. Then I try to sleep till 5 or 5:30. So I'm getting up every hour on the hour. So how can you sleep? And then you go, I have to get some rest in the afternoon. Well, what about me? I've been up like a zombie. Like I just keep going.
And I don't know how you do it because you never take a nap.
I
I've
never
never
take
seen
a-
you take a nap.
I never take a nap unless I'm sick or something.
Okay,
But I, you know,
in what have we been together? 17 years. I've never known you to be sick. Seriously,
let's
I gotta
get some
knock on
wood
this.
here. That's a Formica. Get some
You're right,
wood.
over here.
Yeah,
Yep.
unless I mean, that time I was hit by the car, but that was like an unnatural sick. But no.
But you're scared to death of COVID.
right,
I've had it twice.
Right.
And yet you didn't get it.
well, that's because
And
I'm
I've
very.
never known you to have a cold.
No, I don't get sick like that. I'm very strong. I
Okay,
take care
so I
of
guess
myself.
it's
But the
okay.
sleeping thing is really well. Sometimes though, you don't know. I'll be sitting at my desk at 4:30 in the afternoon, and all of a sudden I just put
You're
my
just
head down. I'm
nodded
just
off.
sleeping, and I
Okay,
wonder
I don't blame
why.
you. Okay.
Because it's
And-
like getting 120 minutes of sleep a night is not
Okay.
good.
But by the way, you have the ultimate watchdog, our little Maltese,
Yeah.
who's not so little.
Right.
Hazel,
Right?
your daughter, my
Yeah.
obviously
Your daughter.
my daughter.
Yeah.
And Hazel, if she hears the slightest little twitch of a noise outside or anywhere, she's up looking and ready to
Well, she
growl.
doesn't sleep either. She really doesn't want to get up at 4 o'clock, or she hears the alarm too, and she just turns over. I hear her go. Ugh. She just makes a moan and turns over. So, sleeping in our house is not something we do. I tell people you can call us any time of the night because we're up all night.
Okay.
That's true.
Let's try another topic that is a pet topic for us without an audience
Mm-hmm.
question. This concerns our friend Lil Wayne.
Right.
And just for the record, I first met Lil Wayne when he appeared on First Take with me. This is pre-Stephen A. as my partner. I think it was 2008 because that Carter 2003 was about to drop.
I think it was 2008.
And guess why he was on First Take?
'Cause I booked
Because
him.
Ernestine booked him because she was trying to book rappers because I really enjoyed Nelly on
Right.
the show. You booked
Right.
Bow Wow to be
Yeah, I
on the
booked
show.
Bow Wow.
And I think you...
Didn't I do Ice Cube?
No, I don't think you did Ice Cube. But there was a
Whole
whole
list of them.
like murderer's row of
Right.
rappers that you were able to secure to come
Right.
to Brit. This is in the day, this is pre-pandemic,
Right.
obviously, when
People,
we didn't do Zoom. We
Right.
did it face to face.
Right.
Nelly was the first.
Right.
Wayne was, Bow Wow was maybe the second.
Right.
Wayne might have been the third.
And then also, what's his name? Wayne's friend that we talked about when I ran into him on the street. What was his name? You know, the
Oh,
rapper.
T.I.
T.I.
yeah,
booked T.I.
Okay. Well, it's been
Yeah.
it's been a cavalcade of
Yeah.
stars,
Yeah.
and many of them were thanks to you and your
Yeah.
pit bull persistence.
Yeah.
Because that's who
Because
you
you
are.
needed help on booking.
You did, and you pulled that off. The biggest get was Wayne,
Right.
who came on his tour bus when they were
Right.
doing New York area. He drove up to Bristol,
Right.
and there he was, and right away he and I clicked.
Yeah.
Because he and I share only one thing in the world, and that is
Sports.
crazy sports passion
Right.
and depth, where we like to talk about why did that happen?
Right.
Why is he the way he is or
Right.
isn't?
Right.
And we got closer and closer.
Right.
That the first day he took me out to his tour bus, showed me
Right.
where he's got his little recording studio on the
Right.
bus,
Amazing.
and you'd say we come from opposite ends of the earth, but we got to be brother close. So when you were doing your book Balls,
Yeah.
you said, do you think I could ask Wayne to be to interview for the
Contribute.
book, to give his side of the male-female relationship?
Right, because there's a celebrity
Mhm.
chapter.
Yeah, there's a whole, and you got I don't
Billy
know,
Bob Thornton,
20
Vince
different,
Gill,
different celebrities.
Michael Rappaport.
And on the phone, you clicked with Wayne
Yeah.
also, and he took a liking to you,
Right.
which surprised me but pleased me. And so now that he has moved to Southern California, where he is within striking distance, we've gone out to his new house, I don't know, what, 3 or 4
Yeah.
times.
Something like that.
And I've said here on the podcast that what I appreciate the most about Wayne and anybody else who's there, they just readily accept you in as one of the quote unquote guys.
Right.
And we might just sit and kick it around for like 3 or 4 hours, and you'll just sit with us, and Wayne just goes on and he's himself. And you've gotten, in a different way from me, very close to
I
him.
love Wayne. So he and I we formed a friendship that has nothing to do with you or sports, and just formed a friendship of we just connect on life, and we just talk about, you know, I gave him for his birthday, I gave him a reading to my shaman, you know, because I have the shaman that I like, and who's a psychic shaman, and we talk about love and relationships and everything under the sun that has nothing to do with sports. And
Or-
I'm not a
or rap
rapper, and
music,
I'm
no?
I'm not into rap music. I love Wayne's music, but I'm not a rap person.
No.
I love Sinatra, and I love 60s music, and I love every other type
Yep.
of music, but I've never really been a big rap person. But the person I know of, Wayne, is one of the sweetest, most wonderful people,
He is.
nicest, caring, loving, and I love him as my friend, and we're friends, and I just, there's something special about him, so I just would do anything in the world for him, and I just love him as a person.
You've actually gotten to know Dwayne Carter. Not
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, it's just Dwayne
No,
Carter.
I just know-
Right?
Yeah.
And he's just Wayne to you.
He's just my friend, and I love him, and it's probably the best thing that I ever did was introduce him to your show, because that's how we met.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Let's try another question.
okay.
Let's go to Harry from Los Angeles. What do we not know about Skip that you want the world to know? That's a deep, that's a Lil Wayne question, actually. Fire away.
Okay. So the entire 17 years that I know you, or 16 years that I know you, going on 17, the one thing that surprised me about you was that beyond the sports, you have a good sense of humor. You
Thank
do. You have a different sense of humor than me,
Mhm.
but you have a good dry sense of humor,
Mhm.
and also the fact that you have a very big heart
Mhm.
that and you have a very I grew up in a house that was very loving. My mother was the best person that walked this planet, the most loving, caring person. My father, being Italian, was a little bit more reserved, but he was a great provider and cared about his family more than
And
anything.
by the way, I loved your mother,
Yeah.
Evelyn,
Yeah.
and you are Evelyn. Go ahead.
And my sister has the same type of love that I have, and she's my best friend. And you grew up in a house that was dysfunctional. Like you had
I
two
did.
dysfunctional parents,
I
and when I
did.
met you, you were kind of a mess because you couldn't even you don't even want to hold somebody's hand. So you were very different than me.
Because no one ever told me they loved me, and romance for me was more just about sex than
Right.
about romance.
Right.
So I didn't know. You taught me
Right.
romance.
Right. And so I grew up in a house that when you love somebody, you tell somebody you love them, you take them around and you give them a hug and you kiss them. And so the thing about you was that you grew to become sort of normal of what the normal is to me,
Yep.
of just showing affection and heart. And you treated my mother like nobody could ever treat my mother and my sister. You were always there for my sister. And so you have a tremendous heart. And that's what I think is the best. And plus, you love movies, and we just could go to movies endlessly. Before COVID, when we lived in the city, we would go to matinees Saturday and Sunday. We could do 3-4 movies in a weekend, and just have fun and just do nothing and just eat popcorn in the movie theater and have a good time. And so you're fun to be with. What people don't see you to be, because they only see a side of you on sports or on your show, and they think that you're just kind of a crotch all the time. So you're not a crotch all the time.
Okay.
So
Would you say I'm more like the guy you know or the guy on television?
the guy that I see on TV, there's a part of that comes home, but then you get stripped of that by me because I don't want to be with that person that's on TV. Sometimes you sometimes you cross that line and you still remain as that person, and I don't really like that person because I don't want to debate and I don't want to have to feel that, I'm always on the hot seat. And so when you become that real person, that's like the real person I know. The person on TV is very real because that's another side of you, but the other side is what I think people would be surprised to see, that you are very different in real life.
I appreciate that.
It's
So
true.
what you've taught me to a point is I grew up in a household in which if you fought, you really fought. It was death, as
Right.
in, okay, I'll never talk to you again if it got to that point.
Right.
And you grew up in a household that is completely the opposite. You want to fight, and you will fight just the way I'm a natural born fighter.
Right.
So we fight.
Right.
And then, I don't know, 5 minutes later, you come in and extend your hand like shake. And you force me to shake, and I don't want to shake because
but-
I don't want to talk to
But
you.
that's abnormal the way you grew up, and I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist, but when I lived in my parents' house, or I lived on my own, and my sister and my mother, we would have a big fight on the phone. What do you mean? Oh, shut up! Don't worry about it. Oh, drop dead. Yeah, you too. Hang the
You
phone up.
still fight
Then
with
2
Joyce on
minutes
the phone.
later,
Yeah.
we'd call each other up. Hey, put on QVC. Did you see what they're showing? Ma, do you want me to buy you that? Like, it was just a total. You just move on. You can't hold the grudge. I fight with my sister all the time, but we're still best friends. And I'll call her. I'll say, Joyce, we fought, but we're not going to stay like this forever. So you know
sound
that
like you're going to
right. We're going
kill
to
each
hate.
other.
I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you. But then I know that it's not going to be forever. Like tomorrow, I'm going to talk to her. So what's the point in holding the grudge? You're going to have to just get over it. Sometimes it's harder than others, but you move on.
And yet, finally, my salvation in life has been our Friday night date night.
Right.
And if I can give myself any credit at all in this relationship, I am obsessed with my games, with my job.
Right.
It's not, I don't even like to call it my job. It's just my life and my
Right.
passion, because I jump out of bed every morning at 2 a.m. because I live for this
Right.
and I love it to a
get it.
fault. But every once in a while, I need an escape. And yet, I don't escape. I do play golf a couple times here and there a week, but you know that I don't play poker with the guys. I don't have a guys' night out. I never do any of that kind of behavior. And when it's time to stop, you get every second that I have.
Right, but you say that to me, but I say the same thing back to you. I too can go out. I have friends and I can do things, but I took those time, like when you have 10 minutes,
You do.
I spend it with you.
You do.
So that's the whole, not to hawk my book again, but that's the reason I wrote the book. It was about compromise. It's about whether or not you live with somebody who's in sports, or you work with somebody, or you live with somebody who's in computers, or whatever they do. If you don't compromise in a relationship 2 ways, you don't have a relationship. I give on all the time. I sit and I watch games with you.
You do?
I do. I mean, seriously. On a Friday night now with the NBA, and I like it. I like basketball. I really do. But it's like from 6 o'clock until 11, and then the next day it's like, what time are these games? I do that. Somebody else maybe wouldn't do it. But if I don't do that, then I don't see you. And so it's a compromise.
You have come around to love pro basketball, not college basketball, because you think it's
and
amateur.
It's Mickey Mouse, yeah.
Okay, but NBA.
Yeah, I
you're
love
pretty
it.
into the NBA, and you will sit with me and watch.
I watch it on my own. I like it only because I could see the guys' faces and I get to know the guys, and I know who they are, and I have crushes on certain ones because I need something to get me through watching 4 hours. So I have to like a
Doesn't
guy.
bother me a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love JJ Redick. I love all those guys.
Okay, and
but
you still like baseball for
I
somewhat
like baseball,
the same
yeah.
reasons.
Especially I like the Yankees and the Mets, only because I'm a New Yorker. But I like them
But you
because I
can
could see them.
Yes.
Football, I can't connect with at all. I don't understand. They're bringing in the yellow line. They're bringing the 40-yard line. What should they do? Punt, kick? I don't even get it. And they all look the same.
I still, you're very smart.
Yeah.
And it's like we're all made up of little intelligences in
Right.
our head because you have high intelligence
Right.
all around your brain.
Right.
But when it comes to football, I can't even make you understand. You get 3 downs to make
Right.
a first down,
Ugh.
go 10 yards. And if you don't, then you have to choose, do I go for it or do I punt?
Yeah,
right?
but it's not as easy as that. Then there's other things that come into play. It's just, to me, I can't take it. But by the way, from our book, it's going to be a movie of the week at some point,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I told you they're making it a movie of the week
Right.
on GAC, which
Okay,
is
is that happening?
it's going to be happening. It is
Okay.
going to be happening.
Well,
So
who's going to play you?
I don't
How
know.
about Sarah Jessica Parker?
Now, that would have been maybe 20 years
Maybe
ago.
20
I
years
think
ago?
20 years ago, maybe. I don't know, but we're fingers crossed, but that's what the word is right now. So they
So
love
maybe
the
some Friday night we'll end up watching the Skip and Ernestine
balls.
Balls,
Balls.
as we lie on the couch, sit
Right.
back on the couch.
And
in
you'll
our
be
living
switching
room.
between
And I'll be
basketball
watching
but no. So anyway,
basketball.
that's a side note. So hopefully everybody's got to cross their fingers that
Okay.
right now it's illegal, but
Okay. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. That's
Thank
all
you.
you.
thank you.
And in the end, I would like to say that the greatest thing I can say about our relationship
Uh-huh.
is not 1 second in 17 years have I ever been bored with you. And I do believe a lot of relationships get so stale that it's like couples we know want to go out and have couples
Right.
nights so that the guys can talk and the women can talk.
Yeah.
And we don't really like to go out with couples
No.
because when we have time, we just want to be together.
Yeah.
And we want to watch the movies or series that we
We
watch.
do.
I might be flipping over to a game occasionally.
Right. Well, what you usually do is you have your laptop and then
I
you go,
can
I just got to,
watch.
I have to monitor
Monitor.
this. And then I say to you, then there's something happening on the movie screen, or I'm like, you're missing what the guy just killed the main character.
He just did.
Oh, okay. I'm
But then
watching it.
Some games that aren't that important, I monitor with one eye, and then all of a
No,
sudden I say, hold on.
Then I hate to do this to you, but I
Okay,
have
but
to
there-
switch
there are
back. In the
24
middle of the
seconds left.
cliffhanger, you got to
Okay.
switch back to
Okay,
see
because
2
there-
seconds left of the game.
There are 2 seconds
Right.
left, and somebody might make a last second shot,
Right.
and then I'll be able to witness it.
Right.
And
No, I
tweet
get
about
it. I
right?
get it. No, I'm used to this by now.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I still think we have a pretty good relationship.
We have a good relationship.
Right?
We have fun. Yes, we do.
We have a lot of fun.
I think we have a lot of fun.
Okay, that leads
It's not
me-
always roses, but nothing
no,
is.
it's not always roses. That leads to our final question.
Right.
From Megan
Yeah.
from Boston. Describe Skip in 3 words.
I've got the 3 words.
I'll bet you do.
Creature of habit.
Oh God, you nailed me.
You didn't know that.
Well, that's
because I
not
told
exactly
you today.
a
I said
compliment.
I'm not telling you with those 3 words. Creature of habit. In the kitchen, he has his vitamins, and I have my vitamins. If I happen to move his vitamin
Not
C
good.
over 3 inches to the
What
right,
happened to it?
Ernestine, what happened to my vitamin C? It's right there where it was. No, it's not. I walk out. I give you your vitamin C. You cannot move an iota. Skip will get in a tizzy.
My Jordans. You,
Oh.
you have to, because we're in a pandemic still, and you're going to wipe them down.
Right. I wipe them down.
Okay. And you always replace them in the rack.
Right.
But it's an Easter egg hunt. They go all over the place. And I say, well, where are my X, Y, Z?
Right.
And
They're right there.
Oh, they're right there. Oh, I didn't see them because you hid them.
You can't move a thing. You can't say something different. You can't say, Skip, do you maybe want to do this on Friday? Blah, blah. Well, aren't we going to get the Eaterly pizza? Well, I thought maybe we would switch it up. Well, okay, but I really want the Eaterly pizza. Creature of habit. But that's okay.
It's Italy. You always
Oh,
say Italy.
see, that's the
Okay. Well, you do because
I'm a
that's
New
the way
Yorker and you're
nicknamed it,
Oklahoma.
Italy, right?
say squirrel.
You put the accent on the rel, like
Squirrel.
squirrel.
What do
I
you
don't
say?
know. It's squirrel.
You say it.
I say it like Oklahoma says it.
That's
right?
wrong.
Squirrel.
Oh, and you don't have an accent. I
Squirrel.
forgot. You have no accent.
I don't have.
He would
an
say to me
accent.
when he first met me, I like the way you speak. I'd say, well, how do I speak? You have an accent. I'd say, did you ever hear yourself? You come from Oklahoma.
Well, I used to.
What do you?
I left it
Oklahoma.
behind.
Oh, like the first time he said to me when I went back with you. Remember what you said to me on the plane? Oh, they don't have covered wagons anymore.
No, that was the first time we were flying there because that's what you expected.
I didn't expect that.
The
What do you think? I
Pony
live in
Express
like the
is defunct.
1800s or something. I'm a modern person.
Well, you kind of like Oklahoma City. It's okay.
I think it's nice. It looks like Long Island. There's malls and
Right.
it's just basic.
Okay, it's my turn to
Okay.
finish this off because I got 3 words for you, but I'm
Oh.
not going to rip you with creature of habit.
I'm not a creature of habit.
This is the 3 words I would describe you
Yeah.
best as.
Uh-huh.
Unsinkable, charismatic, dynamo.
Oh, all right.
That's
I'll take
Ernestine.
those.
Unsinkable, charismatic,
Okay.
dynamo. Because you got Evelyn's charisma because it just spills out of you. And wherever you go, you're the mall near where we live, you're the mayor of the mall. Everybody, every shopkeeper,
every day, so-
they all know you, they wave to you, you're the mayor, right?
Right.
Everybody remembers you, they know your face because you just spill out with charisma. And you're unsinkable because you will never waver.
No, I don't.
You can't be discouraged. You keep fighting to make this relationship work, and it's just unsinkable. And you're a dynamo because I'm warning people out there, better not mess with her because when we do go, say, to the mall or go out to
Yeah.
wherever we go, sometimes we walk to Rodeo Drive because it's not that far from where we live. And if people dare to come up to me on the street, you do not like it because that's Ernestine
Well, I
time.
wouldn't. No, I
know,
don't mind that. But I
you
mean, if
get a
somebody's going to
little
come up and
miffed.
say something bad to you, I'm not
Okay.
going to let them say, "Oh, you keep picking on LeBron. What's wrong with you?" or whatever. Then you
And-
don't
and
know
yet-
if people are crazy.
That is correct. But for the most part, you're always amazed because when people do come up to me, they like me.
Yeah,
Right? And it
Yeah.
surprises you. It shocks you when kids come up to me
I love
and,
that.
and they treat me
Very
like
sweet.
what?
They treat you like you're royalty.
No, like I'm a
Oh.
kid.
Oh, like you're a
Like-
kid.
like
I
I'm
didn't
just-
know what the right word was.
No, well,
Oh.
you know, like
Oh,
you
like
always
you're
say.
a kid.
well,
Oh no,
they-
what? No, I always say this to you that they don't see you as an age, a color. They only see you as Skip. It's just Skip. And the kids could be 14 years old, and they could come from all different backgrounds, all different races, all different whatever. They just see you as Skip. They don't see you as an age, anything about you. You just are this little Skip thing.
Right. And yet you get a little miffed because that is your time. And if I do a talk show with them, we start talking about LeBron or the Heat going to win it all, then after a while, because if we have Hazel with us, she would
Well,
attack
she's getting
anybody who-
nutty,
yes.
yeah, but not me. I don't mind fans.
So you have to
or
hold
people that come up
Hazel,
to you. I'm
right?
always, yeah,
For the
yeah.
most part, but then you end up having to take the pictures.
Oh, I
and-
always offer to take the pictures too.
Okay.
During COVID, I don't want to touch people's cameras, but
That is true. But in the end, unsinkable,
yeah,
charismatic dynamo. And I do love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
We might try it again some future
knows?
time. You're going to be
knows?
such a big star. You'll be a bigger star. You'll have your own show.
They'll say
after
Ernestine,
this.
not Skip anymore.
Okay. That is it for episode 19. I want to thank you for listening and or watching. I definitely want to thank our man Jonathan Berger for being so nice to Ernestine today, and obviously his all-pro team for making this show go. Thank you to Tyler Korn for overseeing and producing.
Colin.
And Colin got you up here. Yeah, that's a
Help me
good
park the
point.
car.
And please remember, Undisputed every weekday, and that's from 9:30 to noon Eastern Time, and the Skip Bayless Show every week.